So in my last video, I explained to you guys that markets are crashing. Not only that, I gave you a few of my predictions about these currency pairs. And you know what I personally believe that they're gonna be doing. Again, personally, based off of my research, based off of my analytics. So first and foremost, I do want you guys to recall the time of me making that video. The time period that video generally took place was around August 17th. And within these screenshots, I want you to actually look upon the dotted line. You can look along the dotted line where I did align exactly when I made that prediction. For Euro USD, based on my analytics, I did make the prediction that we were gonna be on a downward bearish trend. As you can see, from the time of me making that video, we did continue to see a spike in volatile movement. Along with looking at this next screenshot, I want to show you guys of NZD USD. Again, I made this call in my last video. You can look along the dotted line where I made the prediction, which was August 17th. And now you can look at the update from today. As you can see, we're clearly on a bearish trend on this pair as well. Now for USD JPY, I completely bombed on this one. Doesn't mean within the month that I didn't get the chance to recover off of my prediction, but for those of you that watch my video and solely use that feedback as confirmation to get into the market, well then I apologize dearly. But then again, I don't, because you should be doing your own research anyways. I'm just giving you little highlights about what the overall market is gonna be doing. Mainly the reason why I wanted to show you guys my screenshot is to not only let you know that I did successfully make 2 out of 3 correct calls out of these currency pairs, but I also wanted to show you that I make general mistakes just like every other trader in this world. The overall goal of being a successful day trader is not to come up on every single trade, because it's not realistic. But your overall ultimate goal is to have your wins outweigh your losses. To be honest, all in all, I can't really be upset. I mean, I hit 2 out of 3 currency pairs, and that's just the currency pairs I wanted to show you guys. I was trading about 5 or 6 more throughout the month. But what I wanted to talk about today was news that got released roughly about 3 weeks ago. Now, the individual that released these news is our Federal Reserve Chairman, Jerome Powell. Now, if you're like me and you keep up to date with any of the market or the news that gets released, you actually know that what Jerome Powell said in his recent speech actually hit the markets really hard. But for those of you that did miss the speech, I'm here to give you a little update about why the charts are moving so heavily right now. So as I've been saying from the beginning of my journey, we are currently in a recession, where all in all, prices for resources have just been at an all-time high since the past 11, 15 years. I don't know about you guys, but the last time we were really in a recession, I myself was probably just learning about my ABCs. So this is all new to me as well. But one thing I'm going to understand is that I'm going to take advantage of this new opportunity that's been presented to me in life. And I strongly advise you and everybody else watching this to do the same. Hell, even if you're like a level 1 investor, you should still take the time out of your day to at least learn something new about it. Because right now, everything is at an all-time high, and truthfully, this is really the best time to take action when it comes to investing. But getting back on topic, what Jerome Powell discussed in his speech is that, as we all know, we're currently going through the worst stages of inflation right now. But the US's overall goal is to bring down inflation. You see, right now, price stability is very imbalanced at the moment. And this is really bad for our economy, because without price stability, the economy fails as a whole over time. Now, some of you are probably thinking to yourself, V, what even is price stability? Well, for a way that you can understand better, I want you to think of it like a basket of everyday resourceful goods. Things like shoes, computers, groceries, gas, etc., things that we go and get out on an everyday basis. Now, these are all examples of resourceful goods that are purchased from everyday consumers. Now, these goods are supposed to be checked annually by the government, and they're all essentially put together as a whole and put into an overall percentage. Now, the overall goal is to make sure that this percentage stays below 2%. Now, if this goal is met, usually it should, then we do have a case of price stability. However, now if the consumer demand for goods becomes too high, over a period of time, prices will be forced to increase. Now, with every other day that prices start to increase at such a rapid rate, the individuals that are making about 40 to 60K a year, they can't keep up with price. And usually with the general population, you do have the vast majority making around 40 to 60K a year. And the fact that the vast majority can't keep up with price, this causes things to spiral out of control fast. So overall, this is pretty much what price stability is and why it's so important for us to keep it at a stable manner. Now, he did also disclose how the process of getting price stability back to normal will take some time. There is no getting around it. This isn't something that's going to happen overnight, but he is determined to utilize the tools they have to forcefully bring price back down. All in all, basically what he was saying for our economy is that the best way for us to get through this is to continue to struggle. See, I hope it's making sense right now, but there has to be like a level of balance. And when you get off balance, you can't just immediately go back to normal. Dig yourself in a hole. You have to gradually continue to grind to get yourself out of that hole. You know what I mean? Until everything is balanced out. And once everything is balanced out, then you can start to look at the upside. Now, I want you guys to understand the results that may come from this struggle continuation will result in higher interest rate and softer labor market conditions. Taking these actions will definitely bring down inflation. Now, although the act of taking on these actions will be in our favor in the long term of bringing down inflation. Unfortunately, with the downside to it, it will bring great harm to small businesses. It is essentially the bread and butter to like 60% of our society. Like, I don't think a lot of you understand, but small businesses are so essential. They might not have the biggest names in the game, but there's always strength in numbers. Basically saying they're just little pieces to the big puzzle. But if you have a lot of those little pieces put together, you already completed about 60 or 70% of the puzzle. You know what I mean? But continuing on, unfortunately, this will be the end to a lot of these small businesses, especially the ones who are just trying to get their business off the ground. And another harsh truth I want to disclose to you guys is that if we don't proceed on these actions now, like right now, then we're definitely not going to stand a chance on taking back control of our economy and pretty much resulting in $8 being the new norm in today's society. I don't know about you guys, but gas itself already kills my pockets as it is. I try to drive as little as possible these days. I damn sure don't want $8 to be the new norm. I really want you to understand how serious I'm being with that. Perfect example. You remember about 40, 50 years ago when McDonald's burgers were like 5 cents? Fast forward 20, 30 years later, what is the new norm for a McDonald's burger? It's like $5 or $6, right? You see, this is what happens when the issue of inflation doesn't get handled right when it needs to be. Because eventually price is going to exceed too high to the point where coming down back to the regular normal price doesn't even sound realistic anymore.
Yesterday's price is not today's price. Yesterday's price is not today's price.
He does say a whole lot more throughout his speech, and I do highly advise you to go check it out yourself because it's real educational, it's real informational. You know, you can definitely learn a thing or two about the next upcoming moves on the charts. But one last note that I do want to bring up about his speech is that we are slowly making a comeback.
Slowly.
Even that back in the month of July, we were showing good signs of a decrease of inflation. But him and I both do want to disclose that simply 1 month of information is not enough to say that things are back on track or things are getting back to normal. Especially when you're talking about the markets and you're talking about anything that has to do with keeping up to date with our daily economy. We have to see a consistent level of growth to have a solid hypothesis. All in all, I'm not really sure how long this video is going to be, but I did want to give you guys a little update about the charts and where we currently are in the world right now. You see, one thing a lot of my followers do know about my social media accounts is that I don't really post anything that goes on outside of my business life. If you go on my Instagram and you go to my highlights, you could actually follow and keep up to date on what I'm currently looking at, because I'm always willing to give out a helping hand to somebody who's new to the world of investing. You know, if you do have any questions, if you are interested in learning a little bit more about this, you know, always feel free to give me a follow on Instagram, or I'll leave my Snap down below. I'll probably even link my Twitter down below. All in all, I do hope you guys learned something, and if you feel like you did learn something and this video was actually somewhat informational, definitely don't shy away from hitting that like and subscribe button. All in all, yeah, I will see you guys in my next video. Feel free to hit me up if you need me. And yeah, let's run up this bag, baby. I'll catch y'all later.